I did mention my husband tried to burn the house down. So he's helping me around the house doing the chores because my knee is messed up. And I will probably have to have surgery, which I was told today. So my husband, he was doing his chores, and I said that I need to put the self cleaner on the oven so that I could clean the oven as well, since we were doing our chores. But I was going to do that on my own. So he's doing his chores, and so he decided that he wanted to just push the button and lock the stove. He said he looked at the stove. He said nothing was there. And I asked him, I said, you check the stove just to make sure, because we store our cast iron pots in the oven, after we grease them up when they clean. And we just lay them in the oven, send them in the oven. So he said, I checked the oven, locked the gate, started the self cleaning, and the pans were in the oven. But I wasn't aware that the pans were in the oven. And I said, okay, so the stove was working. It was on the degrees that it was rising to. The house was getting smoky, but I didn't notice that it was really smoky until my son said, Mom, with his arms folded across his chest, you not recognizing that the house is smoked up? I said, no, I just thought that was just the way the self oven cleans. He said, I'm surprised the fire alarm didn't go off. So he opened up the windows. I put the screen, locked the door, pulled the screen down on my front door, opened the back door, and Lance opened the windows. The house was smoking, burning my throat and everything. So I asked him again. I said, are you sure you took the pots out the oven? I'm sure. I said, okay. So I made a call once again, because, sometimes you have to just say, turn it off, or whatever, because it was really getting out of hand. He turned it off. I said, let me go upstairs because the smoke was too much. It was burning my throat, my eyes. And so I just said, okay. I went upstairs, and my son came up and said, Ma, go to the back door and look at the pots. I said, what pots? He said, the pots that was in the oven. The black cast iron pots were now rusted and gold, the color of my hat. They was black like this leather, but now they're the color of my hat. That was okay because eventually I got a new stove, and so I got a new stove out the deal. But I tell you one thing, my throat was burnt up, and they said that's the cast iron. When you put it in the oven, it's like it's toxic. Toxic. So I didn't know that, but the oven was smoking, and hi, and so I got two new cast iron pots because the cast iron pots rusted out, and I got a new stove, so that's coming. But yeah, he tried to burn the house down, didn't know, and that's the way it was. That's it. So I just wanted to share that Mr. Tuck and Roll tried to burn the house down, and he had to replace the stove because the stove got messed up on the inside. We can't cook in it no more. So take care. Thank you for stopping by, and hello. I just wanted to say thank you for stopping by as well. It's just me and you, but that's the story. Okay, bye bye.